I fucked that up. So my bad. I did it on the wrong beat. Straight up.
I saw your hand come up, and then I
Yeah.
saw it come down again.
Because as soon as I did it on the wrong beat. That's my bad. I take full responsibility for that.
Hey, it's
from that flub up.
We can at least say,
yeah,
it's good to see you. Good to see you.
It's good to see y'all. I will say this is a surprise not only for the audience, but for us as well. Well, for me, because I wasn't expecting to be recording your guys' video.
I thought it would bring like a better, like a different energy.
Energy. I think so too. Yeah, and I will say it matches our personalities. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yours, you got the very cozy. I'm doing it from home, like.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm doing it from home too, but like, there's obviously I'm using a streaming camera or whatever. Granted, this fucking camera I think might be close to 10 years old, so like it still records at 1080, so it's all that matters. Yeah. And then Nick's trying to do his artist phase while hiding the fact that he's doing it from his room.
He has a very nice room. Yeah. It's a beautiful space.
It's always that out of focus.
It is always weirdly blurry. I did notice that as well.
I always have to clean my glasses when I go in, and I go, no, it just looks like this.
No, it's like your eyes slightly defocused when you enter that space.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You got the blurry painting too.
But yeah, first one of the year. We like.
Oh man.
I almost lost. Okay. I'm just glad we could do it now in time for the month.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't realize how short time was because this. Oh god, dude, the days go by so fucking fast with everything going on. As well as it's been a rough 2 weeks money wise, so like just thinking about that shit. But yeah, so thank you all for coming by. I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
It's absolutely. I absolutely know what you mean, and especially the winter seasons. Mm-hmm. Good lord, my COVID concept of time, is none improved by pitch blackness at 4:30.
Like, it still gets me. I forget. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm my mom now. I'm my mom coming home. It's so dark. Yeah. Why is that?
You know what's crazy? So I didn't have that until this day job I have, because I have to wake up at like 4:30. Mm-hmm. So when I leave to work, it's dark, and when I get home, I think I have like 2 hours of daylight left to to enjoy, and then it gets dark again, and I'm like, well, I gotta go to bed in a couple hours now. And like, if I want a full sleep, because I made a promise to myself not to like lose sleep like I used to in college.
This is a wild thing. It makes me think. It makes me feel like one of those what are they called? Morlocks, like the villains from the Time Machine. Just I'm a creature of darkness who toils in the dark and only sees the darkness.
See, I kind of wish I had your problem, because like I'm out all day. The work is all outdoors. The day job, at least, is all outdoors.
Right.
And I work home, and it's all night and dark. So it's like I experience it all, and I'll tell you what, not overrated. I think the day. I've as someone who's always been a night owl, I stick by it. I stick by liking staying up late where no one bugs you for shit. True. And no one's doing anything. So like, if you need to get something done, you can go do it, and it takes like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something.
It is the one great thing about that time of night is if you have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
This is now like maybe super narrow casting, but like if you drive in this area, just the idea of like getting on the 710 and driving just all the way down, all the way up. Takes 30 minutes or less. Oh, that is sensuous in a way people not from California can't understand.
No, dude. Okay. We're doing California freeway talk again. And we just brought up, because my sister's in college now, and like how when I would drive home or when I'd go home, I would wait till like 8 or like 9 to drive for traffic.
Yeah.
And then I reminded them, not only that, I would come home. If I was coming home, I would sometimes wait till like 1 in the morning or like midnight. The trick was to get home before 2, before like the cops started coming out because of the bars.
Yeah.
And God, just how much time I would save. Like a 45-minute trip with traffic just becomes like 20 because no one's there.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's so hard to explain because it's an experience I don't think other people really get. Just us. We're cool.
Just California. That's right.
Anyway,
Anyway, Nick, as you continue your Grimace impression, what is your Grimace voice?
Hello.
Oh, that's good. Oh shit.
Strong choice. I like
this. Have you done this before? Like is this...
Yeah, actually, it's been a tough road, learning to, keep everyone off the McDoubles and McChickens, but you can't help it,
You want everyone on your McNuggies.
Yes, I want them all on my McNuggies.
You're gonna robble all over those milkshakes.
Yes.
Nick, you're so rah.
Right behind the McRibs,
yeah. And then Mac tonight.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
God, dude, and all the shit that turned into. No, he said Mac tonight. That's the correct name, not the super racist Nazi symbol name.
Big Mac.
Wait, do Nazis really like the 1940s song Mac the Knife? Is that a Nazi thing?
Oh, I thought
now?
you said Mac tonight.
I said Mac tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, Mac tonight.
Okay. I'm not gonna say the name. No, Nick. God, fucking shit, dude. I wasn't gonna say the name because that's now viewed as like, what's it called? Not a symbol. It's in that registry of like names you say like as a super racist.
Okay.
But I guess Nick just wants to blurt out whatever. Anyway, he became a symbol. Nick, what?
No. How was I supposed to know?
We're learning right
okay,
now.
well, I'll teach you all a lesson right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the name, but big Mac tonight became a symbol for the far right, especially when it came to more militant and like like Nazi symbols. It's like the same as a Black Sun, I think, is in that same.
Oh wait, yeah, I know. Okay, I know what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know that one, and like same line of thing, but he adds a different name in that. But it's the same guy.
Is the Moon guy now in this kind of same ballpark as like the Pepe, who was not Nazi-esque and then suddenly became very Nazi-esque?
Yeah. Although, like, Mac tonight's symbol is, like, again, a lot more associated with militant, like, just, like, actual murder. So.
Yeah.
Ooh. Not fun. It's not fun.
Oh.
It's crazy how things go. There's, if you want to learn the history of not the hate symbol, but rather the actual mascot, and the weirdness with that, Funkland actually did a really great thing.
Yeah, they did a great video about that ad campaign. It was,
which he does mention, like, I'm not gonna talk about at all the hate speech that came out of that, but but yeah, man, fun start to the podcast. Learning.
Yeah, fun start.
Learning symbols that were appropriated from fucking McDonald's commercials for for hate speech.
Let's redirect and talk about the Triforce, which no racist groups have definitely done.
Well, yeah, Chris, I am going through my grimace phase.
Yeah. It's because I introduced you to Chat Pile.
What the fuck's that?
What the fuck?
They're the band. They're the noise group that made grimacesmokingweed.jpg.
Oh,
hold on.
Obviously.
Hold on.
You're right.
Oh,
Google
best song of.
I'm clearly.
Second best song of the year, right before Natu Natu. Last year.
Oh my god, a strong nomination.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what else is gonna compete with it. I love Pinocchio, but like I don't know what other song. That's the only reason I want to watch the Oscars this year because it's an old tired thing on here. I hate award shows.
Yes.
But in the Oscars this year, because Natu Natu's nominated, it has to be part of that like opening song and dance thing.
Okay.
And people have to dance to it. And if enough people do, the audience might just die or like something because of how intense and amazing the song and dance is.
They're gonna be like all the whites in RRR, which is they'll be falling left.
They'll be falling and flailing, and I'm like, no. Except the women, they're all like, ha 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 ha, because they're the good ones in the fear.
That's right.
In that movie.
Yeah.
Man, can we talk about the Oscars? Are we going to talk about the Oscars on here?
Have they happened yet? I don't know if like
they haven't happened yet. But
you probably know more than I do. So go for it, man.
I was kind of surprised that RRR didn't get on the Best Picture list this year.
I'm not.
Really?
I think you're crazy.
Here's why I say it is because the first
it should be. I will make that clear, but I'm not surprised it didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one of the first nominations for Best Picture this year was Top Gun 2.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
How? I
haven't seen it. Apparently, it's a great action movie, but like,
the best picture. That's the best one.
That's the best one. That's the best one.
Let me see. Well, because I do think
you know why? Because they want us to go to war again, and that's the movie to do it.
We want to look back at the mid '80s when men were men and they didn't apologize.
Have you seen the movie?
I did. I have not seen the movie.
Okay, I've known a lot of people.
Have you seen Top Gun? Who's seen the first Top Gun?
I've seen the original. Nick's seen the original. You've seen the original.
Yeah. I've seen it,
yeah.
I saw it when I was a kid, and I thought, like, that's enough. That's fine. Let's see.
I think I mentioned it when it came out. Like, that movie's... I can never give that movie a fair shake if I ever do watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do know it's a commercial for military spending, and it's for that air jet.
Yes.
That one company's trying to push onto the military to buy.
Yeah.
And it worked.
And we've talked on the pod before about, the way in which the representation of the military is kind of... It
bugs the shit out of me, too, now. Like,
yeah.
I can't unsee it when it happens.
The hard question of, you see movies that describe war as terrible, but you don't see any films that describe it as like something that is just generally unthinkable, that we shouldn't be doing it. But anyway.
Yeah. I always think, oh God, I wish I remember the guy, the filmmaker's name, but it's a real well-known, I think, European filmmaker. I want to say he's German. I'm not sure. But he gave this nice... He's in this room with a bunch of directors, and they ask him, when you're... how do you handle war on in movies? And I think... is it Spielberg is there? I think it's Spielberg who's there, and other directors. But there's a punchline to this weird video, if you know who the people are. or sorry, there's a weird punchline. The video itself isn't weird, but there's a weird punchline in the sense that it's this filmmaker who's very artsy and very like well known as good and like well regarded, and he goes on this long explanation, beautiful explanation, why he hasn't chosen war itself as like a topic to explore in his movies, is because having like experienced war and known people who've experienced war, knowing the horrors that goes on, he can never feel like he can put it on film and rightfully acknowledge the gravity of that kind of like situation to the audience and make them turn away from the horrors of war. Okay. And then after that, once he finishes his thing, that's the gist of what he says. It's not exactly what it says. I'm butchering the whole thing. But like, it pans over to John Krasinski, who just came out with that fucking military Amazon Jack Reacher show. And he's all. Did you know he's also the son of 2 CIA agents? That's weird. And like he gets him and he goes, I think about that. And it's just so he doesn't have to say, I think war's cool. And like, it's fucked up, man.
No, I think it's sick. Fuck. I was out there, I fucking, like...
I saw Top Gun.
Yeah, I saw Top Gun, yeah.
Like, before I read this, there are definitely people who know, like, I know I'm gonna sound like a fucking It's Always Sunny character if I out loud admit, like, no, I was at war. I was fucking stoked the whole time. I loved it. Like, I'm sure that person does exist.
Yeah.
And they should be ashamed. Don't share that.
It's always those people. I mean, like, having met vets and, like, actually, and, like, gone to, and talked and gone to know people, it's like, if people actually see action, never want like that to happen again.
Yeah,
because it's awful. But it's always the people. But there are people out there who actually do get something out of it, and it's always as I've heard from multiple people. Those are the people you got to worry about. Because I always ask if that I don't always. It was like one conversation, but like I asked if that's like a thing because I was curious about it.
Well,
and I've heard from other people that like, yeah, no one's ever got through. I have uncles who just never talk about it, too.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think I'm gonna go ask, hey, how was Vietnam?
Or describe like, it to me.
or yeah.
So I wanted to get you guys' opinion about this big one.
Okay.
I'm of the opinion that the clear front runner would be Everything Everywhere All at Once for Best Picture this year. But I'm going to read some of these other movies, some of which, I'll be honest, I did not know they remade All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, really? I forgot they did that. Yeah, that was like a Netflix thing, right?
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw it.
Oh, you did? Is it good?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the book.
Yeah, for going book wise,
no, just as a movie. Just as a movie. Because the book is legendary, right? Like, you'll never live up to the book.
Yeah. Well, I meant like in regards to like if you have read the book in comparison to it. I would say that it's definitely great. It's just like, I guess, like, because we talked about like, well, we can't accurately depict it without because again, there's always that underline of, well, it's entertainment. What you're if it's in media, so then the question becomes, if what you're showing is more of a message of, war is hell, or war gives people a grander purpose. It's interesting. It's definitely complex. It's a lot more complex message than I thought it'd be going in.
Okay.
But I think that's an achievement.
That's a step above most.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely shows just how well regarded and just how great the original is, because you do end up leaving with complex feelings.
Okay.
About the film, rather than a lot of war movies, lately have kind of been one-sided. Like
sure
takes and stuff like that. So.
Well, I mean,
So what were the other ones, Ian?
What are the other ones? Avatar: The Way of Water. No hope. Please.
It's gonna win. It's gonna sweep. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's gonna get a lot of awards, but if it gets Best Picture, I guess I have to eat that horse I came in on.
I guess you gotta go watch it not high, and then realize how wrong you were.
I'll watch it sober and realize it's perfect. It's perfect. Elvis by Baz Luhrmann.
That's crazy. I've only heard one person talk well about that movie.
Really?
Again, this is in my own personal thing. I'm not saying it's like a representation of like.
I'm not saying it's even a bad movie, but it's like, have you heard anybody really like? Oh my gosh, this movie! Like,
if it was a musical biopic, it should have been Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude! If they had nominated Weird, I would have been. Yeah. I would have been so pleased.
Listen, I joke about it, but like, legitimately, Daniel Radcliffe's performance is really fucking good in that movie. Like, it's phenomenal. He nails it 100%.
He's actually an incredibly talented actor. He's gotten so much, stuff under his belt.
Absolutely. And that credit song for the movie, Nick hasn't watched the movie yet, so I'm trying not to spoil it, but like, that credit song for that movie is, while it shouldn't win Not To, it shouldn't be Not To, it should be nominated. It should be up there.
Yeah.
Nick, it's so weird seeing the headsets in your head. I've never seen it. I've never seen you from this angle wearing a head.
I like it.
It's always from the side. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, like it.
It really gives you a kind of like a power mad Brando feel. I like it.
Who's that piano guy that plays jingles and like he's like, look, it's in the same key as a weird song. Seth, right? Seth something. Bald dude. Seth Everman.
Everman?
Am I just making that name up?
The YouTuber?
Maybe.
Yeah, the YouTuber.
Yeah, Seth Everman. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Okay.
If you took your glasses off, you would look a little like that with the headphones.
Oh, that's very funny.
Oh, I can do that.
That's hurtful. What? Is he bad? I've seen videos from him that I thought were good, and I guess I just assumed they were all good.
He stomps on kittens like it's half music, half kitten stomping.
But yeah, man. So weird. Yeah.
Weird picks, man. That's all.
That's okay. I mean, wasn't Everything Everywhere All at Once nominated for Best Picture?
It is.
Out of all those, it should be that.
I think out of all of these, it's like The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun, Maverick.
I haven't even seen Tar. I didn't know Tar existed until like a week or two ago.
It sounds really good. Also, Triangle of Sadness is nominated. That's an amazing movie.
You were telling me about that. It's on my list right now.
Really good. Yeah. Women Talking, I just saw an ad for last week.
Oh yeah. Is that good?
I haven't watched the movie yet, but the trailer made me think like I'll probably watch that. But
I still haven't seen Till. That's on my like 2022.
Not nominated for anything.
Yeah, that was weird. That's a weird one. Because I heard the performances are like top notch.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Till, and then Nope is the most surprising but least surprising thing not to get nominated. Because if it was nominated, that'd be weird because it's talking about the exploitive nature of Hollywood. So like, which would have been hilarious if it was. It's like if Sorry to Bother You had won that year, won any award.
Fuck, it should have.
It should have, and it would have been hilarious. Like, as the thing. But yeah. Anyway, Oscar. I mean, we'll just wonder if the Not To song has been played.
I'd like to see that. I will also say, besides Brendan Fraser probably cleaning up, I'm just doing the Oscar predictions now. I think Brendan Fraser's going to get best lead. Basically every other category has something from Everything Everywhere nominated.
Yeah,
like
that's shit.
Probably gonna win
leading actress, supporting actor, supporting actress. Actually, I think some of these they're double nominated. Like one of them, shoot, I think Jamie Lee Curtis is nominated against the actress that played Joy. Like so.
Joy.
The daughter from Everything Everywhere.
Oh, she's nominated. I was about to ask if she's nominated. She should be.
Her and it's the very first nomination for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Is it really? Is that true?
First Oscar nomination.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
I agree.
That it took this long. Because what? Agree. I mean, Halloween would never be nominated for anything, and like, even though it's a classic. But like,
didn't she do drama in the 90s? She did. Like,
I was about to ask.
Movies.
She did some 80s and 90s. What's that one fucking movie with John Travolta where they're gyrating in that one? So you know what I'm talking about, where they're exercising. What was that, Nick?
Freaky Friday.
It's not Freaky Friday. But Freaky Friday, she should have been nominated for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nominated for both Best Lead Actress, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, both head to head. That movie was perfect. Dang.
All right, we should. I'm looking at the clock. We should start talking about.
Yeah. Let's get into the month, guys.
Okay, so I preface this to you guys before I came in, or before we went live. The one thing I should talk about, but I'm gonna hold off on. Nick, is everything okay? Okay. Is that I beat Bayonetta 3, and I have a lot of fucking thoughts about that game.
Okay.
But I know Nick's gonna play it at some point.
Okay.
Do you want me to wait for you, Nick? Because if I go on, I'm just gonna spoil everything.
I can definitely, if you want to, like, tell Ian how bad it is, but.
No, we're not gonna do that tonight. I'll maybe save it for next month.
Okay.
Just so when we have a little bit more time today, because I think I can go on for a while, talking about that. I have a lot of fun.
So because of how great it is, right?
Yeah, man.
Bad time.
Yeah.
Ian,
well, keep it positive, man. I'm telling you to keep it positive. Well, how great is the game?
It was 10 years since the first trailer.
Yeah, was it worth 10 years? Maybe only 2. No, I'm just kidding.
When did Bayonetta 2 come out?
Bayonetta 2, I want to say 2016, but let me double check. Yeah. No, that's way too late. I think it came out 2012. Hang on, I'm going to double check.
Wait, 2?
Bayonetta 2, yeah.
Did it? That long ago? Holy crap.
2014.
Yeah, that was. Wow. I remember towards the end of, 2012.
2014.
Wow.
That'd be a turnaround for production from 2008 to 2012, man. Dude, they just pumped out too.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Bayonetta 2.
Okay.
And
banger.
Yeah, I got a lot of thought. Should I say at least where I think it ranks in the 3?
Yes.
Okay. It's the worst one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
What is it? 2, 1, 3?
1, 2, 3.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's where I'm at now. I've done a lot of thinking about this because I really loved Bayonetta 2 when it came out, but I've been doing a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
And replayed it like a year or two ago. So but other than that, we can talk about things that I think overlap for all of us. Ian, are you caught up with Owl House?
Yeah, I'm.
Season 3, episode 2.
I haven't seen season 3, episode 2 yet.
Okay, me and Nick watched it last night.
I'm very excited. I know that there's generally something afoot with Luce and her mom now in the Boiling Isles. That's
where episode 1 leaves off, you know.
Yeah.
I have I haven't thought about that episode. I have a lot of thoughts about that episode, but I may or may not have an issue. It's something I'm thinking about right now.
Okay.
Again, while always keeping in mind that this is their only shot, right, to get it. Like this is the only way it can happen.
Yeah.
At least with the hand they were dealt with. Other than that, Andor because we finished it actually before the last podcast, Nick and I, but we dedicated it to the movie, so I totally forgot that we had finished that.
Yeah, we can talk about Andor.
You want to talk about Andor? I guess spoilers for Andor. Let me do that real quick. Spoilers for Andor. I will say this: I'm gonna highly recommend it, so go watch it if you're interested.
I am as well.
Oh, it won't let me. There we go. And yeah. Transition to that. Kaboom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Spoilers for Andor in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is the best writing of any Star Wars thing, period.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is nearly as good as Andor.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah.
I think, because before this, it was Mandalorian Season 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because I'm a big fan of spaghetti. Like, just Wolf and Cub style, like, Westerns and, like, all that. Andor is the best writing. It's the best. There's no... Everything is working on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just start with a couple things. I'm not going to do an episode by episode thing, but I will say some of the bigger themes is like I told Nick nothing in Star Wars has made me hate the Empire more than this show.
Yeah.
And everything it represents, and just like how right they get it, like how right the writers and directors get it, like this police force, this fascist police force that rules the over the universe or the galaxy. How a lot of it is theater. A lot of it's just pretending that everyone has this important role, which you get at the beginning. But it's been around so long that you have now people who have made it in that are true believers in the cause and are actually causing problems, which are the two what's her name? The woman from Handmaid's Tale, right?
Yeah.
Which I still haven't seen. I heard it's good, but like it's her, she's great. The weird guy. Fuck, dude. All right, I'm just gonna forget names.
Elizabeth
Taylor. That can't be right, but like she's great. But like those two being representative, like the generation of true believers that have now grown up and have power.
Yeah,
and are actually causing real harm and problems. Even though I would argue that just it being around is actual real harm and problems, but like that. The revelation that no one gets out of the prison is great. Yeah. Why would they? Why would they ever leave a free prisoner labor force?
It's a slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, to actually out and out say that, like, yeah, this is the prison system is a slavery farm.
Yeah,
that's
a slavery farm.
Point.
Yeah.
That's
free labor. Yeah. That's why it exists. That's why it keeps it. Another shout outs to another movie that did it. That stop motion animation with Michael Key, and with Key and Peele.
Wendell and Wild.
Have you seen that?
No, man.
The villains, really... the private prisons, dude.
Really?
You should watch that movie. That movie has some balls. I'll say that. Like, for being a kids movie. But yeah, outright saying it, the idea that you can't actually escape, even if you have money. Like, and if when it's that total, you're never safe, and you're always on the run at some level. The episode with two of the best speeches in all of Star Wars, and both those speeches are back to back. Which is Andy Serkis's speech monologue, and then Skarsgård's monologue after of what it takes to get out of this.
Yeah.
It's fucking dude, it's good. This show is just it's everything I wanted in Star Wars. Like it's everything I want in Star Wars now, which is the actual rebels.
Yeah.
And not just fucking magic wizards who honestly, now that I'm like watching this, I'm watching a movie, I don't think care too much about the actual problems other than the fact that I am a Jedi and I must do what is perceived as good or something like my
so
my only
interesting.
It's
Isn't
so
it?
much more interesting.
Like,
oh yeah, I'd rather know people than a fucking monk. They're like, well, not just a monk. I mean, like, because it's not just monk. It's a culture. It's a belief system that led to this, and that led to this exact problem.
Yes.
And created it, and no one's taking the goddamn time to realize that. You kind of get it in Ben Kenobi's thing, but even then, he doesn't think about it too much.
Yeah.
And just going, well, no, it was always, no, it's still good. It's still, we just got to believe harder.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so much more interesting when it's actual people and characters who like have actual stakes in this world.
Yeah.
Their stakes not just being their lives, but their or their livelihood, but just their home and like their way of life.
Their way of life. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. It gets so many things right. Like, well, I can keep going, but you guys have anything specific?
What about you, Nick? What do you think about this show? What's your?
It's interesting that like a lot of what's up? Not just kidding.
No, nothing. What? What's up with you, man?
What's up with you?
We're cool. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. Me and my buddies here are just having a good old time. Don't worry about it.
No,
was it?
Well, it's interesting. That was kidding. It's interesting that like a lot of what made Andor like as interesting as it is as Chris's point, like it's showing like that the Force didn't the Force only stopped the Sith because it made them, and there isn't really anywhere else to go with it. I mean, there isn't anywhere to describe it where the Jedi system created the evil, and that's why you have all these people that are just like they just have to face it. While the Jedi's have essentially the privilege to like escape and then be one with the Force enough to solve the ultimate problem.
Yeah.
And it was cool that Andor actually shows, Andor definitely, in my opinion, like it really did kind of show Star Wars writing at its best and what made the lore as important and as cool as it is, and then lasted as long as it did. If you don't even count the movies, you count all the other media and all the.
I was about to say, like the only other thing I could think of that competes with this, right, is KOTOR 2.
KOTOR 2, and KOTOR 2 it also had a thing of like, there. Oh my god, I'm forgetting names as well. There is a character who says, "Oh no, the Sith doesn't kill people. The Jedi did because they didn't stop the Sith."
Yeah.
So like, and
It's
no Jedi is here to save you. They're only gonna do it to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
That's why bounty hunters exist. Like because. Yeah, no, it's such a cool thing, and like Andor, I'm with Chris. Like that's writing because it makes you hate the Sith in every episode. Yeah, more and more. I thought it was really cool.
And like I said, it's more than just Star Wars. It's showing actually, you what it is to live under a police state.
Yeah. It's actual political writing that has a very overt, to me, has a very overt kind of point that it's making about fighting against corrupted systems.
Yeah.
About institutions of, like you guys say, generations of people living under like this fucked up thing.
Yeah.
And how scary it is actually that it kind of metastasizes. Yeah. As it goes on, people become, the people afflicted by it become numb, and the people who benefit from it dig their heels in are like, oh my god, we can make it even better if we gouge their eyes out while they dig in the hole or whatever it might
Why
be.
would we ever give this up? Like, that's crazy. And just also like thinking about the metastasized part you're mentioning, just the kind of people it creates, who are not all good, but are trying their best in the system, as you see with the rebellion group, the guy who wants to leave, the kid dying, great moment by the way, and like, as well as the, oh god, I'm trying to remember. No, I already mentioned the monologue. I'm not going to mention it again. I was just about to bring, I guess with Moth Tarkin, her whole bit. Which, by the way, kudos to the actor who's playing her, because like, what shoes to fucking fill in the Star Wars legacy. The only other woman character
who has a name
in who has a fucking name in the original trilogy. Grand Moff Tarkin, and like, I can't imagine how nerve wracking that would be, and she pulls it off greatly. She's like a fascinating character in that. God, everyone's just so fucking good, man, in that thing, and like just things I've mentioned before and how places work, where it's just like the idea of giving a bone to create an illusion before we take the thing away, such as like letting the native tribe of that land for that one base see the sheets being pulled over. And one of the best visual spectacles, I think, in any Star Wars thing. And just that before, like, and then we're decimating this valley to build a ramp or some shit, like whatever the fuck it was. Love that moment, and when the evildoers, the the Imperial Army, have like perish and have embarrassing moments that make you feel good. A guy keeling over from a heart attack because he's never worked so goddamn hard in his actual life. While being like, in any other moment, it would be a cop out for like a situation to escalate real quickly, but I think they pull it off. I think it makes sense, and I think it's also like a funny punchline to that type of character. And then, God, dude, that dude, Pedro Pascal's friend, giving that push kick to the soldier, to the riot cop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so fucking sad. Like, one of the best hits in Star Wars. Because that made me go like, fuck yeah, fucking rebels.
You actually feel like you were a part of something pressing against, like, you guys, again, I don't want to repeat too much, but you feel the struggle against actual tyranny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
you feel the pushback.
And I think the difference of it is, here's how I would describe it. When you watched the Kenobi series, there's a scene at the, oh my god, the tone changed so fast.
I thought it was okay. It was like,
in the first episode,
wasted potential is what I say, but whatever.
In the first or second episode, I'd say, you get introduced to the Imperial Hunters, I think is what they're called. Like, they're Jedi.
Yeah.
And there's like a hanged 20-year-old man, like a young man hanged in the town square and all that. And you get the sense that these people, you know, probably abuse their authority and treat the locals like shit. You get that very clearly.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if I thought about it harder, I'd be able to express it even clearer. But to concisely, in the Kenobi series, it felt like I was watching something more removed, like I was watching a feudal system. Like, everyone hates the Empire. Everyone agrees the Empire are shit, and we hate them, and we want to get rid of them, but we must obey.
Yeah.
Whereas in this new series with Andor, there's still resentment against the Empire, but so many people have just come to
accept it. Yeah.
This is it. This is life. And it honestly feels so much more immediate to me, at least.
Yeah.
As somebody who has had moments where you're just like, fuck, why is the government doing this? This fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like it feels very much more grounded in that way and
Absolutely.
easier to connect to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
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 It's reflective of a real feeling
Yeah.
that people are having right now, but also drawing upon like actual examples of people who lived in war torn areas and like police states. Like we know what people act like in that already.
Yeah.
It's just to be reminded type deal.
It feels like there's a lot less level removal. It feels a lot more, and I think that's
it feels like we're not dancing around the subject, right? Like,
exactly.
God, my only thing is, I mean, like, I was about to say this is an impossible wish, but I mean, Andor exists now, and it's like one of the angles I've always wanted on Star Wars for a while. Yeah. But now the angle I want is people just hating Jedi and thinking they're the worst and the problem. We kind of got that with KOTOR and KOTOR too, but like I would like that on the screen. I would like someone to be right for once.
We're getting 2 more seasons of Andor, I believe.
Are we real? I haven't heard that. Is that true?
The creator had planned out 3 seasons, is what I was told, that would lead up to the finale of Rogue One. It would be 3 seasons and then that.
That's crazy, because Andor 1 could end and just go into Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they like had it planned after. That's crazy, man. I hope they're firing on all cylinders for that too. Like, I really hope. I really wish them the best, because season 1, if that's true and that's just season 1's amazing. It's phenomenal. Like, what a great show. Nick, any last words before we move on from Andor? Well, from both of you, I guess.
It's a good show.
Sure is.
Grimace Nick has spoken.
I don't know what want me to say. Like, I mean, it's all. It's all right. Like, it's also like
absolutely.
And it's also
that's a valid thing to say about the show, I think.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's also like, again, like hopefully it kind of like encourages more studios to kind of focus on stuff like this, and not have to always rely on the superheroes of Jedi's.
I'd hope so too, but you guys, you want me to give like the real cynical viewpoint of this show?
That's what you're here for.
Just to be a real, I know, right? Just to be a real downer about everything again.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah. Okay. You ready for this comparison?
Mm-hmm.
There was a Netflix show that was canceled recently called Blockbuster, the sitcom.
Yeah.
And as we all know, Blockbuster went out of business so has one store because of some weird trading shenanigans.
Yeah.
There's a great documentary about that, by the way. But the most interesting part is finding out why it's still open. But like, because that's the actual question. But like, how Netflix knocked out the whole rental service industry for most places, unless you're like a specialty store.
Yeah.
Which I do know of some in places like Alhambra and Azusa. But like, and in that show, they mentioned, hey, isn't it weird that we're putting God, what's the thing? Because what's the thing Blockbuster knocked out, right? It's just buying VHSs, I guess, was their take, which is not true, as hard copies live on for stuff.
I mean, it really jumped off in the early 90s because it was at a point where VHS was still like
expensive,
$70.
Yeah,
really
it was fucking expensive.
So a rental made more sense.
It was a real cool thing to own a VHS player. Like, VHS is like, it was a big deal.
Like, it wasn't until 1998 or 1997 thereabouts that VHS were some shit that you could get 2 or 3 and buy them. Like, that they were affordable. Kids, believe us.
I don't even think my dad owned like VHS until around then, because they just rented stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And now we have copies of Mortal Kombat and the Goonies, which is great. But so isn't it weird that Blockbuster is on this thing that killed it and now owns it as letting it do a show, and then it cancels a season?
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. That's it's as awful as that is, right?
That's the plaything of the Boy King.
Yeah.
Oh, let us return let us return the people we crushed. No, it's bored me now.
And they're making jokes about it on the show in the first season. I don't know if you guys watch it. It's a very mid tier, but there's very funny people in it. There's JB Smooth and Randall Park. And what's her name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Jordan Peele's wife?
Yeah, I think so. I would have to really there's some funny people on that show. It's an okay show. It's fine. I think the parts were. I think I'm not going to give a whole review. I think they should have played into certain strengths, but maybe that would have been a season 2 thing. Anyway, canceled one season. After that, Andor is a show about a police state where fascists are taking and like how to actually rebel and all that jazz we talked about.
Yeah.
The very fact that we can make these stories that people can make these stories on Netflix, Disney Plus, one of the biggest streaming companies, and Disney just being the fucking empire that it is in the world. From a perspective means they're comfortable with people talking about it like that. Not just in public, but on their own services.
Yes.
Now, there is an argument to be made that a good show is a good show because they're big properties. You're making money-wise, that makes sense to do it. But I posit the argument that there's no fear in talking like that.
That Disney does not have an adequate amount of fear?
That they are comfortable with this kind of talk being like a big show talking like this against a police state.
Okay. I can follow that. Follow that. I would say that
I do agree it's a jump. Like, I think, but
No. I'm going to agree with you. Agree with you, and I'm going to even extrapolate further.
Okay.
To, I don't remember what drama source brought this up, but it was maybe like Vanity Fair or Hollywood something or other. Yeah. There was an article recently about how we're now getting a lot more comfortable painting the ultra wealthy as villains in stories.
Yeah, we sure are.
Which on some level does mean that, like, have you guys seen White Lotus yet?
No, I have. I think weren't you gonna get back to me and tell me if that was good? Because you said the ending was wild.
So yeah, I watched the season 2, and it's wild.
Is it good wild or like?
I recommend Wild.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Here's what I will say, because it's kind of a certain.
I could go for Wild. Yeah.
Because I know not everybody really wants this kind of experience. It is showing you the people that you hate the most.
Yeah.
And the reason why you should hate them, ostensibly.
I can get to that.
Season 2 is a lot more about gender than it is wealth.
Okay.
But ultimately, both seasons are about ridiculously wealthy people behaving like dog shit.
Yeah.
And between that, I think there's a new what's the one with Ray Fiennes that just came out? The Menu.
Fiennes. Yeah, the Menu.
And Glass Onion. There's been a handful where we're clearly getting at least somewhat more comfortable. Well, here's the key. Yeah. Producers are somewhat comfortable starting to address that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're okay with it.
So, but that makes me wonder, like, okay, what is the effect and what is the meaning? Because the dudes who put up the money for these movies are those people, right?
Yeah.
So
on some level, it's that.
Yeah. So, or is it that they all convince themselves, oh, they're talking about everyone but me?
But me,
I think that's also
also a possibility because as we all know, that wealth does not at all equate intelligence.
No.
It equates opportunity, not that. Yeah. So maybe, and maybe it's the thing of the people are gonna know, and
they're gonna know I'm the good one.
And that's I don't know, man. It's a sad thing of I won't know the answer to that question for a while.
Yeah.
And true. If it's bad, it's really bad. It could be a real bad answer.
True.
I'm just glad I'm not I'm not fully crazy seeing that or
no, not at all.
Yeah, coming out from that. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. The cynical side of my brain that can't be shut off.
Sure.
At all, no matter how hard I try. Yeah. But yeah, anything else about Andor before we move on? No? Alright, cool. Let me get rid of the spoiler thing, and wasn't there one other thing I saw that I thought I think Owl House was the only other thing I could think of.
Chainsaw Man?
What's up?
Chainsaw Man?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Ian, have you seen Chainsaw Man?
I haven't, but feel free to have at it if you want to.
Oh, it's good.
Okay. All
right, cool, man. But yeah,
thanks.
My month's been pretty good.
You can start off with Chainsaw Man.
Yep. I mean,
because I liked it. I watched it with you. I liked it.
I mean, I think there's a lot to talk about, honestly, with it.
Really? Oh, but please.
Yeah.
I mean, everything because if you go away from the visuals, it's
Well, let's just get that out there right real quick. Beautifully animated show with amazing action and cutscenes. There's no doubt about that. If you can take a technical class on that and all that. And in fact, Mother's Basement has done a video on just the intro alone that is really fucking good. And Ian, I would argue you would love the intro because every single thing in there is a shot from a movie.
Okay.
An actual fucking movie, including an obscure reference that is so fucking obscure, but is yet still in my wheelhouse. I still didn't get until Nick told me what it was, and it blew my fucking mind that that's what they're referencing.
I can't wait to check it out. That sounds wild.
I'm sure Nick knows exactly what reference I'm talking about, but yeah, other than that, Nick, other than the visuals, getting out of the way, what do you want to lead off with?
Well, Nick, can you also lead us off with? Can you give us a general idea? What is Chainsaw Man? What's the story?
It's a man with a chainsaw. There you go. And in his heart. Sorry, it's a chainsaw in his heart and his head. There we go. Nick, go ahead.
It is a world of. It's very much taking the trope of, the usual yokais and demons in a modern Japanese setting.
Yeah.
It is very much.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say with the twist of the added twist of demons are manifestation of fears.
Okay.
And specifically, the more the public fears a certain thing, the more powerful that demon is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bat demon's pretty strong. But gun demon is the big thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in fact, I kept making the joke to Nick while watching that series of going, yeah, but what about more existential fears? I don't know, fear of getting audited, or fear of not doing your taxes on time, fear of I don't know, space, just emptiness,
alienating other people.
Yeah. And there is one demon that gets pretty close to something I said, so I won't spoil that, but but yeah, that's what the twist is on that kind of trip.
Yeah, at least as the world itself.
Yeah,
that's the state it's in, and it's also this. It's very much the story of it's taking the shonen story that's very common.
Yeah,
and the usual trope of you have this young guy,
16,
who's essentially 16, and he's essentially like, he essentially abandoned and from society and from any possible hope. And he, like, the beginning is him living in a shack and being and trying to pay off his debt to Yakuza
Very
by
poor.
killing demons.
No money.
Yeah, no money. Yeah, it literally opens with him talking about the organs he sold on his body for money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, missing a kidney,
testicle.
One of his testes gone.
An eye.
He hasn't lost his. No, he still has both his eyes, right?
No, he lost it.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. He did. Okay,
yeah, exactly. See, so
yeah,
it starts off like very much establishing this is like the lowest of the low you can get before dying, like, and that's like pretty much taking that trope of like, okay, here's the shonen, like this is my view of like a shonen like at zero, and then take it like that whole arc. So essentially, I think I said before, like right when we started watching it together, I finished reading the manga. Like it's ongoing in a sense, like there's like the main story's done, but there's like a second part to it. If you want to read further, but the ones that we're kind of experiencing is quote unquote done, like it has an ending. So I kind of so from a story standpoint, it's pretty much the main character kind of finding his own place in the world. But what happens is that Denji is very much the author's not only self input of desires, but also like he makes it very clear that this character is literally only for himself. He's like his whole issue is apathy. Like his issue is like to feel something for others. But in his sense, like in his mind, he has no reason to care because no one cared for him, and that essentially is his arc. Yeah, everything about it is fascinating. I still stand by, even after reading it and continually reading the second part, Denji is like still the most interesting part of that entire series, if you ask me.
Yeah, I can agree with that. He's more interesting than the world, I think.
I agree.
And it's a good world. It's a solid setting, like for that. No, you're right. There's moments in that show. Hey, Ian, you know, like we do, being poor and not having money sucks. You know what's a great feeling though? You know what's a great feeling?
What's that?
When you have your first hot meal after not having hot meals for a while. That's a great feeling. Hey, you know what's also a great feeling? Okay, you want there's a very specific moment, and I want to see if you've had this moment in your life too, because I've had this moment. The moment you can just buy a drink or a snack from a convenience store or a vending machine or something and not have to worry about your budget for that day or think about it. You can just go in, reach the thing, buy it, and now your thirst is gone. Isn't that great? Isn't that a great feeling? Dude, okay, they talk about it in this anime and I went, wow. Well, I've had that exact fucking moment. I know exactly what that dude is talking about when he's talking about that. You say he's the most interesting part of that anime, and I said I agree. I also think he may be the best shonen protag I've seen in a long time, if not ever.
Right? Like,
granted, we know on this podcast I don't like shonen, so like, unless you count like JoJo. But JoJo's so barely shonen. It's only shonen like published name and like So I would argue Denji is like by far the most interesting one. I've seen.
So yeah, and I agree, and also like I'll keep it short because I do want to talk about, now that you mention it, JoJo Part 6, because we did finish it.
Oh fuck yeah! Wow, that happened. Yeah, that must have been before the end of the year. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay,
so I'll keep it short, and I'll just tell Ian, that is, it's gonna be completely my bias, and it's gonna be, I don't know how much, I know Chris pointed out a lot of parts of the shows that has this thing visually and from a storytelling perspective, but I will say it's like my favorite thing visually in a long time, and it really is just because of the use of style and the very much like using. It is not treating itself like an anime.
No,
the camera work is not at all.
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about that. Well, because I guess I lumped it in with visuals. Ian, the direction in this anime is some of the like
immaculate.
It's great. Okay. It's fantastic. It's okay, dude. You're gonna love this. The manga writer is obviously, because he was making so many references to Western, not just Western movies in general, but a lot of Western cult hits like as well. The show direction and shots are very reminiscent of Western, like directing and shooting. In movies we know specifically. There's a shot I would love for you to see it. One day when we get a chance to show you, that I had to explain to Nick why I thought this shot was amazing. And there's a moment where one of our characters, Powers, she leaves the bathroom, and her cat jumps on her shoulder, but it looks weird. And I was the first one to mention why it looked weird. And I went, it looks weird because it looks like someone threw the cat onto her. And I said, that is quite possibly a reference because of how it looks to how cats act in films. Because you can't get a cat to go somewhere.
Right.
So what they do is they have a person off screen throw the cat in a direction because the cat will automatically go in that direction after you throw it. And so when they have to have a cat jump on a person, they throw it up. So that cat looks like it's been launched onto her shoulder, in a shot.
So that's the visual reference point. So it's been animated to look
like that.
Yeah.
It's
pretty cool.
Awesome. It's one of my favorite little moments I've seen in a long time because of how fucking accurate that is.
Yeah,
it's great.
And just everything with that, like everything to do with just the way they kind of it's very apparent in the manga, but I think the show does solidify that everything's a lot more subtle despite how grandiose and crazy the fights are.
Yeah.
In terms of characters. And that's why I think that's what really stood out to me even when reading it. And the author was like, he even said like he couldn't stand a lot of Japanese writing for characters.
Okay.
Because to him it's like a lot of them are kind of samey is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And he said in the sense that like they're very much what you want people to think you are. It's very much like putting on persona, and a lot of time it is subconscious. Right. So in his case, it was pretty much wanting to just write, as openly as crazy and weird characters as possible, and then the ones that are trying to conform to the social standards and the norms within, that version of Japan, they're still like. They still are very openly like you can't this is who I am though.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean the author, his other work is incredible. Really. I think Chainsaw Man is Fire Punch is another one.
Fire Punch. That sounds familiar.
That's where the dude is constantly on fire.
Okay, now I do know this.
Yeah. And then he had he had a lot of short one-offs.
Yeah.
In fact, like one of the shots in the opening is a panel from one of his shorts. Yeah, there's a couple of those. Cool. And then what I thought was cool was like, despite my praise for Chainsaw Man, I think it's the weakest of his work.
Really? But that's the biggest hit.
Yeah, that's the only way I describe it. I think Fire Punch is way better. I also think that his one-off, Goodbye Eri, it's not for everyone, but if you understand this character's like views on the struggling artist, quote unquote.
Hang on, Nick, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt. Ian, we're picking up the vibration of your phone.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, because you can hear it against the table.
Yeah. But
I'm just letting you know. It sounds really bad on our end. Like,
hold on, let me see what I can.
Oh, for sure. I'm sorry to interrupt, Nick. Well,
that's just what I want to say. It's all just to praise it. Like I loved it. I think it made up for a lot of the stuff we were watching
great.
together, Chris. And
fantastic. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the best. Well, it's the best anime I've seen since Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yeah.
I think Edge Runners is still a better one.
I think so too.
But Edge Runners is done. And that's its strength.
Sure.
But no, I don't know. The writing in Edge Runners is just so good.
I agree.
Hey man, those Russian authors, huh? They'll always.
How about it?
Nick, you don't know. You're not fully in like the literary writing world, with other people like in there, but like, the Russian author will always be the bane of everyone's existence, because it'll always be something fucking amazing. And
I still gotta reread Brother Karamazov. It's been a while.
Yeah. That's the one he wrote too before he died. That was like his last thing.
It's
like so it's everything in there.
It's so good. It's
good because it's everything. It's everything. Every thought he's ever fucking had, like, is in that book.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
It's one of those books. It's the book an author writes before they die, knowing they're gonna die, and like everything's in it. The only exception is like Chaucer, but even then, I think Chaucer, when he wrote, that's not the only exception, but one of the exceptions, when he wrote Canterbury Tales and like it ends that way. I think he ended it having said everything he wanted to say anyway, but that's the whole thing. For an old English book from like 1500s and shit, if you want to go back and look. Chainsaw Man's good, dude. I would recommend it to you, Ian. I think you would. If there's nothing else in that anime for you, you're gonna love the references.
I'm down for references
because they're good. They're really good, like really top-notch stuff. Also, every ending is different, and that's crazy.
I like that.
That's insane. That's a lot of work.
Every different, and
they're very different from each other. Yeah,
so different.
Nick, which one's your favorite?
Oh, that's a good question.
Just name one. We'll because if we go down the list, it's gonna ruin it for Ian. But like, just name one.
Okay, so song wise, it's gonna be. I remember it was like between 5 and 6.
I don't even remember.
It's the one. It's the one where it's like the city pop, the power.
Oh, okay. I know which one. I know what you're talking about. The one with the TV, right?
TV, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
From a visual standpoint, it's just a bias. The pop art comic book one.
Yeah, that one's good.
But overall, 3.
Is that the noise one?
Yeah, it's the crazy.
Yeah, that one's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
That was my favorite one. Right, that's the crazy one.
It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
It's good. Chainsaw Man's good. Go watch it. Feel like we said a lot while also saying what everyone else is saying. It's good. Go watch Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end of the world as one Eye Patch Wolf video says it.
I don't think it's a masterpiece. I think it's great.
Where he's crazy.
I think it's just like, maybe he was.
I love Eye Patch Wolf, but yeah, man.
That when something's pretty good, like it's like the greatest thing ever.
The greatest thing in anime.
I get it. But that wasn't the best thing last year.
No, Edge Runners anime.
Edge Runners,
right? Yeah.
And right below that was JoJo.
Oh, that's right.
And
are you caught up on JoJo, Ian?
What's that?
Are you caught up on JoJo?
I don't know where I am right now. 3 or something.
All right. Well, who's the protagonist? And I'll tell you where you're at right now.
Johnny Joestar.
No, Johnny Joestar is season 7. It's gonna be book 7 or part 7.
Yeah, there is a Johnny Joestar, but that's like it's not even in the show.
Is it? Crap.
There's Jonathan, Joseph, Jotaro. What's he look like?
He's the classic one. He's got an old man daddy, and he's got a hat.
Oh, that's Jotaro. Yeah, that's Jotaro. You're in part 3.
Okay.
Stands are now a thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. But don't hold back on my account, guys. Please.
No. I was just asking. I'm curious.
All right.
I can't wait for you to get to part 4, and I want to see your take on part 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I say anything about that. Let's not do a full spoiler thing, Nick.
No.
Just because time. Just to be reasonable with time.
Quick one. All right.
Yeah, real quick. Good. It's good. Good.
It's good.
Good part.
It's good.
I like Jolene a lot. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's my favorite Joestar. I have to think about that. She's up there.
Yeah. So I kind of even before watching it, I did let Chris and some other people know that we're watching it, that to be aware that the cast of enemies, or like the Rogue Gallery.
Yeah, the Rogues Gallery. Yeah.
Rogues Gallery of villains are not as interesting as characters compared to 4 and 5.
Okay.
No, they are not. You were completely right. They're actually might be the weakest part of that part.
I agree.
The stands themselves are more interesting than the characters, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time since Darby.
Mm-hmm.
And Darby might still be my favorite stand user.
Yeah.
Darby the Gambler specifically, but
oh yeah. But that is all made up for the main villain.
Oh
Pastor Pucci.
Yeah.
Man of Lord and Dio himself, Pucci.
Yeah.
Chris?
If I had to do a rank, he's my third favorite antagonist right now.
And number 1 is Kira?
It's a toss-up between Kira and Dio. Depends what kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But no, Pucci's up there.
Mm-hmm.
I just love Kira. I love Kira. I love that Kira's just a guy. He's just... Well, but he's also a serial killer. But, he's just a guy. And,
yeah, he's a guy trying to live a normal life.
Trying to live his life.
Yeah. Dio is just he is just evil incarnate. He is literally, I am evil, suck my dick.
I am the villain.
Deal with it.
I am the villain. But he loves it. He loves being the villain. Yeah. He can't help it. He is who he is.
No backstory. No, I just love being evil. It's
love
fun.
Being evil. I love kneeing dogs in the face. I love.
Nope.
Love
just
being a
love
vampire.
killing.
I just love it. I just love being a vampire.
Can't stop. Okay,
but,
so Chris,
you start. Go.
Okay, yeah. So going off of that, another overview is also I kind of knew going in that it was going to be very sided. It was very going to be divided on the decision for the ending, and then also its overall theme and message in regards to what exactly the villain's views are, and also what the author's trying to explain. This is what the villain believes with his worldview, because 5 essentially contradicts everything that Pucci believes in.
Yeah,
and this is the same world, right? This is the same world entirely. So we live in a world where 5 exists, and the events of 5 happen. And then 6 comes along and says, hey, my entire world belief is these things that were completely proven wrong by the people in part 5. But this is Florida. That's Italy.
But this is America, motherfucker. Yeah, he can't. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you know that. In part 6 takes place in the Florida Keys.
It's in jail, isn't it?
It's in prison.
Yeah, Florida jail.
Jail, yeah.
Okay, remember how I told you each part is Araki's take on a type of genre?
Yeah.
Part 6 is a prison movie.
Yeah.
It's a prison escape. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess my question to Chris, to keep it short as possible.
Yeah.
And to get to it, what did you think of the ending?
I don't know, man. I told you it's a type of ending that's my opinion's gonna change depending on part 7. And from what I hear, part 7's the best part, and everyone blah, 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 and then all over part 7. So it'll probably be good, because right now it kind of sucks. It's actually a really fucking bummer for someone who loves JoJo. And I never thought I'd feel this way about a type of ending, because 1, it's a very incredibly ballsy ending.
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna spoil here, but like
ambitious to say the least.
the most like it's the point. It's literally. I mean, it's so ambitious. I can't believe anything else to be Araki's goal other than I want the audience to go, well, what even then? What even? What's even next? What are you gonna do? And you can feel that kind of feeling in this part, in that some of these stands are so fucking wild that you're like, I don't know if Araki himself knows what to do next. Like, if to keep up in this, and we get an answer at the end of what his thought is about that. Trying to dance around this feeling. To the point where I go, I get why Araki did this. Like, I get it. I do. It feels bad. It's gonna depend on part 7 for real. Like, what that is. Granted, part 7 in the manga has been done for a long time now. But to get to this part was like, it was 2 decades, right, in writing.
Yeah.
So if you're following the manga as it goes instead of the anime, you've been following this series for 2 decades. So that kind of ending coming on, I can't even imagine the weight and the impact of that, right?
Yeah, rather than just us,
because of how hard it hit me.
Yeah.
Having said that, on a more brighter note, the opening for that last episode in part 8 is like perfect. It's everything I would want in an opening. I don't know if it's my favorite opening, but it's like, it's perfect, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because I gotta think about that. I gotta think about which one's my favorite.
Because the show told you what's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've talked about why I love that in part 1. Part 1's opening is the promise. As I don't know if you remember, Ian, the opening of part 1, but it starts off with manga pages. It starts off with the part 6 protagonist, and then moves down until you get to Jonathan.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
So, well, we're in part 6 now. And that's all I'll say on that subject. But great. Fantastic. Everything leading up to that ending is pretty great. I like how dire everything feels.
Oh yeah.
I love how just like literally what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Because we had this thing with 4, and because 5 was pretty much like the villain's ability is so broken. Like, if you take it a step further, there's nothing anyone can do about it. And the whole story is about preventing him from taking the next step of his ability. So 4 had an entire escalation, and then 6 had an escalation. So I gotta ask you, Chris, which to you is scarier? Everything to do with Kira's like abilities escalating, or Poochie's abilities escalating? Like, which one to you would be a scarier thing to experience?
Kira's.
I think so.
It's personal. Kira's is targeted and personal. Part 6 is the world's ending. So like, you know, when it's that big, it feels like, well, okay, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
But when it's personal, if you think of every single choice you made that led you into this situation, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'd rather have that. I'd rather the world end than me than someone really take it out on me. I can't. Learned a lot about myself today.
Oh yeah, you're doing great, Chris.
I'm gonna talk to someone about that. Rather, everyone else should be with me in the suffering, not just me. That's me. I'm no hero. I want. But yeah. Anything else you want to say on part 6? Because I am trying to dance around.
Me too. It's tough because then we would have to get into it. But you know, I do agree that I don't think it should have been one of the weekly releases, like when Netflix.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. I still hate it. Like, I think how it was released on Netflix.
Yeah, having it as a weekly. I mean, because Netflix has been doing like weekly releases sometimes.
Yeah, they've done it before.
Yeah, it done before
with anime.
I feel like they should have done it for JoJo, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. JoJo's really hard to binge. I'll tell you what.
It is because there's a lot it throws at you.
Yeah,
that's its whole point.
Like I can't imagine Ian going through part 3 right now and like binging it because at some point it is Monster of the Week for a little bit. And then it's like, okay, well, no, I'm done. I feel satisfied with this meal right now. I'm gonna come back to it, type deal.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, it's like when I try to binge Black Mirror. It's like you can't really do that. Did I tell you about that? I tried to binge it.
Really?
Yeah,
I think you told me about that.
That's brutal, dude.
I binged the
How
first
far
season.
Did you get?
Well, I binged the first season for sure, and then like
That's crazy.
And I ended up like taking
what a roller coaster of emotions.
I know, right? And also like they're all intentionally written to be thought about.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a breather. After
I really went from the robot in the attic, and now it's like, all right, now to the bear, icon mascot,
running for prime minister,
right? Yeah. But yeah, I wish JoJo would have weekly. And then there's not. It's one of those things of like, it's gonna be tough to if you are someone right now who's gonna binge to 6 and now you gotta wait for 7.
I don't know if I can how you do it.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, luckily now you have like the most access ever to watch them. But
yeah, it's all in one place now.
Yeah,
it's all in one place. It's all easy viewing.
But yeah, it's good. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I hope they do weekly releases for part 7. I'd much rather have one episode per week, like is what I've learned from that.
And I said before, 7 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Part, and I can't get into it too much.
Mm-hmm.
But my reason for 7, to keep it as vague as possible, is the last few chapters.
I think you're gonna say because Ringo Starr's in it.
Ringo Starr's in, he is in it. Ringo Starr's in it. Outcast, that's why I tell you what, he is in it.
Yeah, he is in it.
And then like the horses and the caddies are all named after like bands and
hang on, Nick, you're roboting out really bad. It's fine. Yeah, I will say as far as the naming convention thing goes, try saying something, Nick. I don't know if things are coming out. Okay, that's better. There's still a little lag, but it's better.
Is it not good or?
It's better now. Now we can. Okay. Yeah, it was really bad. Like there was like just that like coming out. So go ahead and finish the thing, Nick. I was just gonna stall until
it's very much like for part 7. I love it because of, in terms of not only the premise but also just the last chapters are like to me like the best experiences in JoJo easily.
Nice. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, until I see part 7, I will say I don't think I like the ending to part. I don't like where it left me feeling.
Okay.
I agree.
Not knowing what part 7 is. I guess if you know what part 7 is, you're like, wow, they did it, and like type deal, and it must feel good. But that's not where I'm at. So, but I recognize that, I recognize that, like, because I'm a good watcher. I watch good, and
you're giving us, man. You give us your time, your patience, your blessing.
They should give me like a reward, like money.
Yeah,
I should win things by watching.
They would just strap you to it. You would be in a chair watching every shonen ever, and I tell you, man, that's really brave of you.
It's really brave.
Put yourself through
Chris,
this.
I don't know why you haven't been nominated for an audience-y.
Yeah. That's what the streamy should have been on like the internet. It should have just been called the audience-y. But yeah, man. Anything else you watch, Nick? You want to talk about?
Oh, in terms of watching, I mean, we kind of touched on Better Call Saul.
I haven't watched that. Yeah, so it's like nothing for me.
I can't wait to talk about that one. That's a dope one, though.
Okay, then I'll start watching it so that way we can talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I'm just saying, like I caught up to season 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, general thoughts is I think it's way better than Breaking Bad. I think it's also this is
you
literally
shut your fucking mouth.
Every act, really.
No,
I need a high enough IQ to understand.
I'm gonna punch through this monitor. No.
Yeah.
Let me just say about Better Call Saul. I think one of the reasons why I so strongly agree with you, Nick, about why it's so effective as far as television is Saul gets into way more situations that I can view myself in than Walter White ever did. Yeah. That is to say that like.
Well, you just never made meth. That's your problem.
Or was a chemistry teacher,
I've never made meth, but I've definitely lied too many times in a row, and then realized, well, we're here now.
Yeah.
This is it, I guess.
Yeah. I have that bad habit. It's not as bad as it used to be. But that habit of like you just say the thing so that the situation goes a lot more smoother.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter. You get into that where like it doesn't matter what people think of me in this particular moment as long as I can get out of this in like 5 minutes. Like type deal. Very real feeling for anyone who's never had that. Like that's happened way too much in my life.
I'm so excited to talk to you about Kim Wexler. I'm so excited for you to find out more about that. Like
about who that is.
Holy shit! Yeah, I mean, well, have you not seen any of Better Call Saul?
I saw episode 1 when it premiered on television. Yeah, because I'm OG like that, and I just didn't watch more. I don't know why. I was in college. I was young.
Young and naive.
Young.
Maybe it's my fault for watching things when they come out and happen before everyone else.
All right. Well, before we get into that, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
I'm just such a good purveyor of television. I don't know what.
You're crushing it, man. Chris, you're doing great.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna watch it. That way we can all talk about it. Like...
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, that, and then like in terms of shows, that's about like it. I mean, I'm going through Abbott Elementary. I'm like,
oh yeah, I was really happy that you started that. It's good.
It's good.
It is.
It's really
great
it's
sitcom.
Really funny. Yeah.
Really, it's actually really funny and like well written.
That's a great pilot too.
Yeah.
I mean, she just punches the kid.
I totally forgot that's episode 1. Like,
yeah,
that's how that show starts. And then when you came up to me, it's like, no wonder you like this fucking show. And I'm like, what? I think it's funny and well written. What? He goes, episode 1, a teacher punches out a child. That's like the instigating action. I'm like, holy shit, yeah, that's totally right. That's like.
And then she's replaced with a teacher played by Everybody Hate Chris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, man, it was like Tobey Maguire.
Wasn't I right about that description when I told you?
Yeah.
But it's just him, but someone pulled him up, like
someone stretched him out
like on his y-axis, and his voice got deeper.
So I maxed out his height slider.
Yeah.
Right.
He's so fucking tall. It's crazy. It's so it's jarring as someone who really liked Everyone Hates Chris. Everybody Hates Chris. When I was growing up.
Yeah. But I really like that one. I'm trying to, in terms of shows, that's all I can think of. I actually wanted to bring up one game I finished playing that I think you guys would be interested in. And again, another one to keep vague because I know Chris plans to play through it himself. So I finished Amori.
Yeah.
The game Amori by the.
I have it.
Yeah. So by the creator is Omocat and her team. And then it's funny, like I also have to remind myself of there's all the controversy with the composer.
Yeah.
During its release, who was an artist I did follow along in high school because he was part of like the Pix like the whole 8-bit thing in the 2010s.
Okay.
Chiptune? You mean Chiptune?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's chiptune. But then it led to just being called 8-bit music.
Wait, really?
So
that's new to me. Okay.
Yeah, so chiptune.
I'm not up with it with kids.
I know, yeah, so but
No, it's okay.
I will say, gameplay wise, yeah, I knew going in it was Earthbound. I knew it was going to be a sort of hybrid of Earthbound, a lot of the like turn-based system where it's just like images in the corner and then the villain in the center and like abilities. Gameplay wise, yeah, no complaints there. Visually, it's stunning. Visually, it's like
visually it's
everything.
amazing. Yeah,
and that all comes from the creator style, and it's very much trying to pull from this very specific part of art in the 2000s and of nostalgia and then of like reminiscing on these art movements that were kind of ending. And kind of so overall
no, Oma Cat's a very big artist, so like she's well known. She's more well known than a lot. Like we were buying Omocat stuff back when it was still fan art.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Before they had their own thing.
Oh yeah.
That's how cool we are.
That's how we are.
And
but yeah, it's. I guess I'm kind of dancing around the story because the story itself is very much like when you load up the game, it tells you a content warning, and then the content warning, I argue, that in of itself is a spoiler, because it's obvious that the story is trying to lead you to these things that were warned to you in the beginning. So I remember after playing it, I had a long conversation with some game development friends, where they were talking. I was asking, like, do you ever worry? Obviously there's the obvious reasons for providing a content warning, but I always wonder, like, do you think like that will always outweigh like the if you're planning to do a twist or like doing
the surprise,
story. And a lot of them obviously they chose like it's obviously more common sense to just provide it anyway.
You can do some real damage depending on the content.
So it's not worth
how bad it is.
So no, I mean, that definitely opened that up. And also, like, I had to remind myself that a lot of people that are playing this, you can tell like this is made post Undertale. Like you can kind of tell, like, this is literally you can
tell, you can feel it in a lot of games. I mean, it's not a bad game to copy.
Not bad, no.
Like
no.
Granted, I did have that thing where I played Everhood, and I have such a grading problem with that game. So like, and it has everything to do with the writing and its message. So like,
I think Omori definitely makes up for Everhood in the sense that it is extremely charming. It is extremely. Everyone is very likable, and
you mean like what it does better than Everhood type deal? Okay. Because
like,
makeup, I was like, are you about to tell me people who made Everhood worked on Omori or something?
No, my bad.
All right, no, it's all good.
No, I just mean to say that I do think Omori achieves what it sets out to be writing wise. It's just a matter of what we talked about of
what that is.
What that is, and between like experiencing a story like that for the first time would make it like incredible.
Yeah. Okay. So I was gonna mention this because you told me it's a similar complaint I have with Celeste.
Yeah.
Where I love Celeste as a platformer and all that. Its story, like its take on depression, all that. Well, I don't at all mean to knock it and say it shouldn't do this, because I don't. Not at all. It should do what it wants to do. Is that having read and done and played and experienced a lot of stories about different kinds of depression, anxiety, and other mental states. It's rather not. I feel like tame's the wrong word. It's like if I was a teenager and this was my first time ever experiencing a story that actually talked about depression, Celeste would blow my fucking mind. But it's not. It's kind of like baby's first outing. with this type of topic. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's going to impact people who it impacts and who are at that moment. But as someone who's experienced a lot of things, both in media, personally, with friends and all that, and know their stories, doesn't hit. Like I go, okay, that's. I mean, it's that. It feels general. If again, I'm trying my best not to insult it, but do you guys kind of get what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, and I think actually I can tie it into what I'll talk about a little bit later. But
this might be a good transition then from Amori.
Yeah, it actually might be then, because I'm actually in the same like realm of feelings Chris is having for Celeste.
Yeah.
I'm having with Amori. But
it's the quote by, you all know that quote by Toni Morrison, the really famous one about her introduction to writing, or her introduction to the medium, was her basically saying, I knew that the books weren't written for me.
Yeah.
Because contextually, the books kept explaining things. There is no reason someone would need to explain if I was the audience.
Yeah, if I was,
and I feel like that's maybe a little bit of what we're talking about here.
Yeah. It's more for a general audience to kind of show them what that's going on. I feel like. No, that's a very true feeling. Like reading a lot of stuff. But yeah, you want to transition then, Nick, from Amori? Unless do you have anything else to say about Amori?
Yeah, I'll say that despite that, I do think I think overall it's definitely a great game. It's a lot shorter than I thought it would be. It's interesting. The main story will take you like 20 hours at most.
I still feel like that's long. Like for that kind of game with that kind of style and being an indie game, that's a long time.
That's a long time, yeah.
As somebody who's now working on a game, that's a long fucking time.
20 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like if the side quests are would literally triple that amount.
Really?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you'll go to websites and it'll say like 20 hours main story, completionist would be like 80, 70, 80.
Fuck,
hours.
dude, that's a full ass RPG, man. That's crazy. Like I can't imagine the money, right? Like to go into that, but
yeah. And I also knew going in, like, it was, the moment I say the movie that it reminds me of, it's going to spoil the entire thing.
Yeah, I'll know the thing.
All I'll say is, like, kind of like Chris said, when you experience a lot of certain styles of stories, like, you can kind of tell not only where they go, but, like, what is the message going to be, and about what you can talk about, like, relatability.
Yeah.
That even for a specific subject matter, not everyone's gonna relate to the specific experience that the main character is experiencing and how they handle it.
And that's not a thing I think people should fear. It's what like people who are trying to sell stuff fear.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a feeling that leads people down or leads story down to like a less interesting path. I think really interesting stuff comes from how specific you are about a certain feeling or like part or subject.
Yeah.
Like a specific take. If you're gonna write something, give me your take, man. Like give me your perspective on it. Not try to be like, I'm gonna relate to everyone. No, tell me what you saw.
Yeah.
Right? And like what you see in that. Because otherwise what are we doing here? Well, I can just go and ask a bunch of people then.
Yeah.
But if we want your specific thing, if we're buying into that, like, give us that,
Yeah, I agree, and it's also like the symbolism in it is again it wouldn't be a complaint, but it's more like it's very forefront that this is like what this is supposed to be an imagery of.
Okay,
and it's also like
not a lot of layers type deal.
Yeah, not that
again, not layers. A bad thing, not the worst thing in the world, but
no. It's also like I guess the only thing like I would be iffy about is like there's very clear there's a very clear way you're supposed to feel about the main character.
Yeah.
I don't know if I reached that, and I
Okay.
think it's more of just personal experience, and it's of like certain character and certain like habits and actions.
Yeah.
That I not sure I agree with how everyone handles him, and feel like they need to tell him, hey, it's still not okay, even though you are going through a lot.
Oh god, is it the forgiveness thing?
It's not.
Because I'll be real, the older I get, the less I can stand that shit. Like,
yeah, because it's also a thing of like, this is a kid. This is obviously a kid with like
you got to think
issues.
about it that way.
And then, but it's also like, it's still not okay.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But again, that's my conclusion. But yeah, I think overall it's still a great game. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you are approaching it from a very like, you're thinking about it as a creator, as someone who makes stuff too. So like, no, I think those complaints are there. You can still like the thing. No, it's definitely on the list. It was a thing I had to play, or that was on the list of things to play for a project. Before it went on hiatus, but like, I played some other stuff that was on that list that I really wanted to play, like Yume Nikki. I really wanted to experience, and like finally did that. And I did other stuff instead of getting to Amori. But I have Amori, so I should play it at some point. But I'm playing other games that I want to finish instead, because priorities, man. But yeah, should we pass the puck to Ian just for the sake of time? Yeah, Ian.
All right,
go for it.
To kind
of next time on the podcast, Ian will tell us about his wonderful January. So we'll see you all next time.
Oh, you'll hear all about it, guys.
All right, good night, everyone.
Go on.
I really wanted to pick up the puck. So I've been reading a lot more this month. I've got a lot to get through, but just to get into it, because this is the one I'll probably talk the most about.
All right.
About mid last month, I had mentioned before going to an event to see the director John Waters come out and talk about his career. I finished his new novel, Liar Mouth.
I gotta watch that.
Oh wow,
I gotta read that. Okay.
It's his first one, and he more or less described it at the event as a fundraising project. I published it as a book so that I can get back and make it a movie, which is precedented. The original All Quiet on the Western Front did that. Full circle. There you go, guys.
Books are written in hopes that a movie option is bought. So
yes.
It's just the way it works.
It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
I just want to say that this book is so well written.
Yeah.
It's so specific. It is nothing but specific choices over and over again.
Yeah.
It is one of the dirtiest things I've read in a very long time. It's a very dirty book.
Very dirty.
Maybe if I could give you all just kind of an idea of what the plot of the story general shape is, not really like a spoiler time.
Yeah, go for it.
So, and I'll even tell you who I'm casting in my head based on the writing. But the lead is a very Aubrey Plaza-like role, to my mind.
Okay.
She's a 30-year-old woman who has an eating disorder and is described as being very, very good looking and very mean. And
I don't know if Aubrey Plaza has an eating disorder, but like I haven't.
No, I mean, she's very beautiful.
It just seems like a very specific thing to say, Ian, after choosing Aubrey Plaza. How dare you choose someone who was a minor celebrity crush? And that sounded meaner. That sounded meaner saying a minor celebrity crush.
Yeah.
She was a celebrity crush before I went. Celebrity crushes are weird. I don't want to have that part of my life.
Yeah, they are.
Growing up. I've also mentioned Carrie Byron was that as a prepubescent teen.
I mean, teen, but like Carrie Byron was like the the girl all the boys wanted when I was
She was
growing
so
up.
cool.
She was so cool. She made robots.
She liked Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah.
And she got married. And as a 13-year-old, I went, the doors are shut off.
I'll never find love now.
I'll never. What hope is there for me in this world?
So the story is set in Baltimore, Maryland, where Marcia is a beautiful young woman, who is a compulsive liar, and she cons a very stupid like redneck guy into becoming basically unpaid service to her, like move the bags and drive me places.
Oh, okay.
With the promise that in a year's time they would have sex as a form of compensation.
1 year.
1 year.
Oh, fellas.
And so a year into that, she of course has to try and find a way to get away from this. To get
out of the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's a liar. And the story, I keep wanting to say movie just because the novel is so visualistic. It really sets a good scene for you.
Okay.
Is essentially a trip of karma of watching this woman who has admittedly she only survives to parasite off of others, to steal and lie and
to leech.
Just getting presumably every person in Baltimore chasing her down, wishing her destruction.
This is like an old school like Americana like feel like I'm thinking Huck Finn or like some Mark Twain thing, or there's a book on my fucking shelf that I read for a class once. I'm trying to Modern Chivalry. Where it's just a guy where everyone ends up, or a person, just everyone in a town ends up hating because they're so awful, and they at some point there's no one left in the town that like will fall for it.
Like yes, exactly, exactly. So at this point, Marcia is such a like menace. Yeah. Like everybody knows this person's gonna try and rip me off, try to manipulate me in some way.
Yeah.
And so you get these amazing scenes of she robs from her adult daughter's business, and then.
Well, what else are kids for?
Exactly. That's her argument. Exactly.
Oh no! I'm having that moment where I know exactly what
the
monster's thinking.
And there's so many great scenes of like. There's a lot of car chasing. It's a travel story. It's a travel story.
Okay.
Like, and just to name a handful of the other great characters that are in this book. So many fun characters. There's Daryl, the dumb guy who's chasing her down for mandatory sexual payment for his slavery. Yeah, that's right. Who gets punched in the dick by a 10-year-old he tried to rob.
Hell yeah.
And then his broken penis starts giving him psychic visions of where to track Marcia down. It's a very
Well, that's just our sixth sense.
Yeah.
Is to find the people who promised.
I'm sorry.
There's okay, guys. This is not a spoiler for the book.
Yeah.
But I'm going to describe a 3-paragraph section that made me laugh out loud the first time.
Okay.
Which, first of all, please, everybody on this call, please tell me, how hard is it for printed text to make you laugh out loud?
It's very hard.
It's a hard bar to pass.
As a writer, it's very hard for most people, not me, but like for most printed. It's a lot. It's really hard. I'm way better. I realize I think I'm way better in like delivery and like conversational humor than like other aspects of my humor.
I mean, a big part of it, I will say, is you know what, you're absolutely right. Delivery is such a big part of it, but it's
timing.
You know, John Waters has such a specific cadence to his writing. You really get like a very specific rhythm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But there's two parts that made me laugh out loud. One of which is Marcia is again running for both her life and money, where she hitchhikes. And this is 3 paragraphs. She hitchhikes, she gets picked up by a man, they drive, she opens the glove box, there's a severed woman's head in the glove box.
Yeah.
She realizes she's been picked up by a highway killer. She takes the head out and bashes his head with the severed head.
Nice.
Realizes that the severed head had a wig on, puts the wig on.
Oh, there you go.
And escapes to
things just work out. I don't know what else to.
It's so fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. It's
great.
Just it's so good.
If that was in a B movie, like a John Waters play or something, it'd be the reason you pay for admission. You go to watch that scene.
Absolutely. I can't wait for folks to see this film.
Yeah.
The other part that made me genuinely laugh out loud to the point that like my partner came in from the other room and was like, "Are you okay?"
You're having a lot of fun.
What's going on here?
What's going on? A lot of laughing and joy.
What's all this mirth about?
Are you having one of your laughing fits? You're hysterical. I make sure. Can't have that. You can spread that to the neighbors. The whole neighborhood would be in a fit of hysteria and laughter.
I'm
sure your partner's great. I don't know. I just kept rolling with it.
They're a cretin. There's 2 characters I'll mention back to back who are in the scene.
Yeah.
But Marcia's mother is a character in this story.
Yeah.
And Marcia's mother is introduced to us as a pet plastic surgeon to the stars who has moved to Brooklyn because she's very famous for being able to give your dog that, celebrity impersonator look.
Hell yeah.
And her dog looks like Joan Rivers, that's the only description of the dog, and that's a perfect description of the dog.
So Joan Rivers would want to be remembered.
That's right.
Right.
And she has to then interact with Lester, the dog catcher, who is
do dog catchers still exist? Don't we call it like
animal control?
Animal control?
Yeah.
Because I'm picturing a guy with a big net that's like it's running around.
You guys, he doesn't work for the city. He's a dude with a truck.
He's a dude with a truck that says dog catcher.
That says dog catcher on it.
It's like, that's the part we got to bring back. That's the thing. That's the thing from the bygone era.
That's it. It's so, guys. It's so. But the punchline of his whole thing. So like, 2 things about him. One is he's a human lie detector. He has dog instincts, and he knows when anybody's telling a lie.
Watch out.
And the other, so his tragic backstory.
He's an empath.
His tragic backstory and the explanation of why he's so good at detecting lies is, my parents thought it would be cheaper to just raise me as another dog. They had like 3 or 4 anyway.
Yeah. And you only have dogs to be a substitute for a child.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah.
There's just this line, and the line that made me laugh out loud though is, while he's like having this very raw emotional breakdown, and he says something to the effect of, "And they were feeding me dog food. I liked you, Kanuba. I thought it tasted good." It made me laugh. It's so fucking funny, guys. It is genuinely really clever.
This book sounds great.
Nice.
It does.
I recommend Liar Mouth to everybody. Yeah. If you're someone who's seen John Waters films before, it's something you'll probably like.
Yeah.
I have omitted the dirtiest parts of the story. I assure you, it is. It really, again, it is pretty blue book, but very funny, very funny.
No, just as you were talking about like comedy and
yes.
books. Well, you know what? Because I was gonna say it hasn't happened, but I mean, like, I read. It's been happening a lot, just because I read novels from like cracked writers too. So like Robert Brockway's Carrier Wave thing has really funny moments. But I still think about like how my favorite, I think, written like novel joke is still like a Jason Pargin or David. It was David Wong at the time. This book is filled with spiders, and it's a fart joke, and it's only funny because it takes the entirety of that novel to set up the punchline.
There's something very special about that.
Oh yeah, and it's a paragraph. The joke is a paragraph long, and it's the funniest part of that entire fucking book.
Did we ever talk about some fool who worked with Diplo did like a cartoon, and they made a half an hour segment with Ezra Koenig in it just so they could build up to a punchline of I'll never like there's a festival of vampires in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
That's the cartoon. It's a half an hour cartoon building up to the punchline of I'll never forget Vampire Weekend. And it's such a
you've told me this bit. Yeah.
It's so fucking dumb, but they committed to it so hard.
It's a dumb joke I would come up with and be like, yeah, that's gonna be the punchline. It's a wordplay. That's what that is. But yeah, man, that sounds good. It definitely sounds on the radar. I'll check that out. I got a whole stack of books, including I haven't finished I gotta get back on it. The last Jason Pargin book.
If
of the John Dye series.
You're in the wrong universe.
Yeah, I gotta finish that. I think I'm only like first few chapters in.
Okay.
Which is crazy because his next book, which is part of the Zoe Ash series, is up for pre-order now.
Holy crap!
Like last week, he's fucking doing. I mean, he laid out that whole timeline of like 5 books, and from different series, including one series that hasn't been announced yet because it's just unnamed original thing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's all original. It's all his shit. But man, he's doing it. I mean, he has said on multiple like occasions this is like his main source of income now is the books. And if you're gonna do that, you gotta be on it in this day and age. There's no like, if you're an author and that's your only thing for money, you gotta pump it. You gotta pump that shit out. Like
you gotta find the spigot and turn it on, man.
Yeah, you gotta. There's no hesitation. I mean, granted, Jason Pargin has like decades of writing experience now, including being head editor of like the golden era of crack. So like,
yes,
the man that like to turn the working part on, like to get just stuff done, right?
Yeah,
which is a skill in it of itself. But yeah, what else you've been experiencing?
I'm gonna throw out 2 more books. I just started. So here's a brief story for anybody from Southern California. I'm gonna recommend you a place to take your business.
Okay.
There's
Why do you tell people where the cool stuff's at? We're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to let people visit LACMA, take their photos in front of the fucking lamppost thing,
and then fuck off.
I don't even know what it's fucking called anymore. I just call it like the Forest of Lights or lampposts or whatever that tunnel is in Little Tokyo. That nothing in that little area is as anywhere as neon-y as that one tunnel. Yes. Like everything else is actually fairly standard fare for a shopping area.
Yes.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head. The fucking bridge from Terminator.
Yeah.
That everyone drives over. Yeah.
Oh shit! They tore those down. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just shit that's gone now.
So I did just start this book by Generation of Swine, Tales of Shame and Degradation of the 1980s by Hunter S. Thompson.
I was about to say, is that a Hunter S. Thompson thing? I was like,
Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah. He's singular. He's untouchable. He's singular. What's there to say about Hunter S. Thompson?
If you've read his stuff, you know.
Like, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I like this, honestly. This feels like my dad book more than anything, because it's honestly just a collection of his like newspaper articles.
Yeah.
From, I want to say 80,
that's cool.
85 to 90, thereabouts.
That's cool.
And
that stuff is easily lost. Like,
yeah,
that's really cool. Okay.
And so like, there's a bunch of stuff about a still alive Nixon, which he of course can't leave alone. Love that. Anyway, I actually picked up. This is a beautiful hardbound copy that I purchased. It's at there's a little used bookstore over in Glendale.
Okay.
Right by the World of Comics, I believe is that what that shop is called. They're right next to each other. Really? So if you do get a chance to go in there, prices are fair and selection is really good. And I ended up getting to talk to the shop owner. He was a really nice guy who let me know, yeah, we've been here for like 4 years, but just about every day people are like, oh shit, when'd you get here? Because and I'll let you all know now, it's because it's a door in an alleyway. That's why nobody goes there.
You would have to hope for World Comics just to be like, hey, there's a bookstore too.
Yeah.
Type deal. Because World Comics is famous. I mean, there's a lot of signings that happen there.
And there's like a big mural on the side of
the thing as well. It's got that big art thing. I haven't been just because it's out in Glendale and I don't drive to Glendale. And like, I just know of it because of signings. But okay, so I know where it's at now. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that one a great read. And then one last book that I actually picked up recently at a physical shop. It's called oh gosh, what is it called? Hold on. Let me grab it off the shelf. 1 second.
Bookington. I mean, he's gone now. Anything can happen in the back of the video. Oh,
that's what
it's called. What?
It's called Horror Queer.
Okay.
And it's 25 essays written by
that's ringing
different
a bell.
authors, and they're all kind of deconstructions or analyzations of horror movies by LGBT writers. And I just want to mention one essay in particular that hit me hard. There's 25 of them. I haven't read the whole book. I think I've read about 15 so far, just kind of jumping around. But I read the one on Hereditary because I love that one, and I was like excited to read that one. So I wanted to share a little bit of that essay with you guys, and just to give you an idea of what the book kind of is like. So the essay for Hereditary is more so revolvent around the character of Peter, and the idea of the dread you feel of essentially they're reading the movie as the possession of Peter is inevitable. There are certain things that it seems that steps that fate takes, that Peter is the vessel of payment. And spoilers for that movie, by the way. Sorry,
I still haven't watched it. I mean, it'll be a bit. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
That movie touches upon a certain subject that's very touchy for me, so I just haven't brought myself. I got to get into space, you know. Be ready.
It's a dark film. It is a really dark.
I miss my twin. Good guy.
But
beautiful, handsome,
beautiful golden fur.
in his essay about Hereditary, he then uses it as a parallel track to his eventual coming out, which is paired to scenes in the movie. So in the sense that, like, I got secondhand anxiety reading, like, oh my god, this sounds awful. Why are you like? So as a taste of it, like, the author then describes his marriage at the age of 20 to the woman that he grew up knowing in a small town in New England.
Yeah.
And, you know, the setting and this all being the same. And then comparing the moment, and this is a preamble, the wedding compared to the funeral, where you then get your first confrontation with something's not right.
Yeah.
And his confrontation was his best friend saying, I think we should hook up on the day of his wedding. And
well, if there was any time, it's time to do it now.
If there was a time to ask, I guess that's the time.
Lord,
because after, that's when things get a little sticky, both like, you know,
and
marital wise, legal wise.
Yeah.
Now there's a kid involved.
Let's make a baby.
and then there's a second part where they start to describe essentially Toni Collette being opened up to the spiritual kind of corruption, being opened up with the Ouija board and this whole thing, and then juxtaposing that against all the kind of little Jesus Christ. So fucking close.
I was just trying to let it play for like and not acknowledge. Nick, why do you gotta steal Ian's thunder? It's just gotta be about you, huh?
That's had to be.
You're on camera now. Look at me.
I really liked the juxtaposition of.
Hold on, Ian. We have to go back to Nick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say that was very funny. I was just trying not to say anything while it was happening.
No, sure.
But yeah, all right. I'm sorry.
No,
Ian. Go ahead.
My bad.
It was your floor to begin with.
I think it was maybe just that the essay actually managed to give me a twist that shocked me almost as much as the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think that's fucking really impressive as far as his writing style.
Yeah, it's a sign of a good essay.
A compliment to the writer. Juxtaposing Toni Collette kind of opening herself up to this influence by playing with Ouija board, playing with the glass and all that.
Yeah.
He then compares it to, I just started to follow like people like Epic Mealtime and like a few other guys on YouTube who were like big beard men who like to eat, but it wasn't weird because it wasn't a weird thing. It's normal and fine. And
like Batman Shrugs.
And yeah, you're reading it and you're like,
he doesn't have a beard.
I feel like you describing it this way means it maybe is, but yeah, it's the really personal writing in there. Really great. What's up?
As it should be, if it's going to be really good. Like, you got something to say. Yeah. And
honestly, really interesting looks at horror. I will say that it's maybe a 3-to-1 hit or miss ratio. It's really good stuff, but again, it's a composition. Some of them are not as strong, but the first 3 are incredibly strong. Very, very strong out of the gate, and
enough to get you into the book.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So I would recommend that collection. I just happened to see that at my local shop. Really good stuff. Really good stuff, guys.
Can you send me? Because I always love reading stuff like that. So, like, just to get different perspectives.
Sure.
Because that's what I'm always terrified of. Just because I think about things so much that I'm like, okay, what am I missing though? Like, someone's gonna be seeing something that I'm not. Like, just because of the nature of humans, you're gonna have a different experience than I did.
Yeah.
So no matter how hard we try.
But it's the exact same token that gets me so pumped for documentaries. Like, oh shit, okay, I have a documentary I can mention. Holy shit, great segue. All right, and this will be my closer. I'll end here.
Yeah.
I did watch a documentary on Netflix. I would recommend. I really enjoyed, called "Is That Black Enough for You," which is a history of black folks making and being in film from basically the silent era to the end of the 1970s.
I was about to say, that's a very specific line too. Like,
do you know that movie? Do you know the movie that's
that? Oh, God, what it's I've seen the interview. I've watched it. You know, it's. I'm trying to remember the fucking thing, dude.
Well,
okay, go ahead. I've seen the interview. I've seen the joke and like the way he delivers that line.
Yes,
because it's a great like it's both the it's awful, but also it's fucking hilarious. Like that that it had to happen this way. Yeah.
Yes, and just so our listeners know, like, they interview so many amazing celebrities, directors, and actors, and all that. And just about everybody who was born before the 70s, like, collectively, like, there's a great segment in the middle of the documentary where they're like, oh yeah, when that movie came out, like, it became a catchphrase that you could apply to almost anything.
Yeah.
It could be a positive, it could be a negative, it could be, are you impressed? It could be a, is that enough for it? It could mean whatever you need with the intonation and situation of, is that black enough for you? And it's a great movie, talking about. I would say the two standout people they talk to are Harry Belafonte and and the star of Heat of the Night and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah, Heat of the Night is Laurence. No, not Laurence Olivier. Laurence Olivier. Fucking
shit.
Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier. Yeah. Yes, that's the interview I'm thinking of. Yeah, is Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier and he's definitely a big standout, just given his kind of like.
Just for being Sidney Poitier,
being Sidney Poitier, exactly. But it's such an interesting look at like the connection between mainstream black films and then blaxploitation that kind of popped off of that, and why the market for exploitation movies started to kind of dry up at a certain point. It's a very interesting movie to look at as a film nerd, as a historian, and as you said, Chris, I love getting to hear about perspectives that I don't know dick about, like just learning something
There's
brand
just
new.
No possible way.
Yeah, exactly.
That would learn. It's just, how do I put this? There was a class I took when I first became just I guess kind of close this out with a personal tie. Unless Ian, you mind if I tell the story? Do you got something?
Have it.
All right, so I think it was the first year I was an English major. This was like maybe the third year of college. I took a literary theory class first semester. By the way, I was taking the high end shit. Retrospect, very bad idea, but it did open my mind up to things I should be thinking about. I just kind of wish I had taken it. Whatever. Anyway, hindsight's 2020, and like what my professor taught me at the time, or kind of what I gained from it, just off the top of my head, is we would analyze things in different lenses, is how we kind of put the perspective in. So you'd go through it through a more like Marxist lens. You go through it through a more queer lens, it was called in literary, like academics at the time, but it could be like LGBTQ plus lens probably now. I don't know. I'm not up to date, like what the official lingo is for academia. So like, which is its own fucking beasts and whatever shit.
Yeah.
And all these different lenses you can do. And it would just be like, well, then you start noticing things in the story differently. I took one of the books that I loved in high school, World War Z. I threw it through a more Marxist lens, and I saw a lot of things. I was like, oh yeah, there's these big moments in the book about, and well, they're more small moments compared to like actual zombie fighting, but they're moments in the sense they're big in the sense that it's where humanity is starting to like get their shit together, like, and start really nailing stuff. And it's like just the working class folks getting shit together, making stuff work, and it's that stories open up, different parts of the story open up once you take those different perspectives. Especially if it's a story you know really fucking well, but you're only gonna know yours if you're not actively trying to search out how other people view it. I don't have a thing. Everyone has a thing. I don't have a thing. You guys might want to actually be. Well, no, Ian should be. I actually don't know what the rules are. I mean, Nick's fine.
I think I'm fine.
Oh,
I would have to double check. The problem is they updated it recently, and I don't know dick anymore. Like,
oh no, it doesn't. You can't even like, dude.
Yeah.
The stuff people put on here.
Fair.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So it's that. You're trying to figure out different shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So what?
Yeah. Good stuff. It's good to get a little variety in your lens that you, as you say, look at stuff through. Yeah, man.
I really dug modernist lens at some point, but that's just because you're being like really nitpicky about shit. like these, and I could just hyper focus on like a scene like that. Yeah, man, it's cool. So to close it all out, Nick's already gone. We were no longer the center of the show. Let's see. Oh, and Ian's gone now too.
Sorry.
Ian was so angry. He was so
Ian,
angry.
You wear glasses? I had no idea.
I haven't seen him wear glasses in a while.
Yeah,
actually,
I haven't seen you ever.
To be fair, with the last time we've come together, it's been like for like parties and stuff, or like little get-togethers. So you're like trying to all look our best. Yeah, man. But yeah, what are y'all looking forward to before we head out?
Nick, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, Nick, go.
I am looking.
Go.
Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to another month of going through.
Life.
You know, my. Ian, what you're up to?
Going through another month of what?
Another month of going through the Monogatari series, doing my own like rewatch of it. I do every year. So I started that. And then
oh, Nick, hang on. You're cutting out.
Can you repeat that last bit?
Yeah, you're roboting really bad. Lagging. Well, here, let's go to the Ian. You go, and then we'll wait for Nick's video to catch up.
Okay.
To fix itself.
I'd say that I am looking forward to.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I had said all those nice things about the vampire. The vampires used the Vampire Chronicle from the Anne Rice books.
Yeah.
And
you want to take it all day?
No. I just started the Mayfair. So they've got 2 shows running simultaneously that share a universe. One's about witches. I like it, but you know what? I'm dubious. So I'm excited to report more about it.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then Nick, back to your thing. What are you looking forward to besides the Monogatari thing?
Well, besides that, you know, finishing up Abbott Elementary.
Good.
Going through,
some people appear on that show, dude.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. In terms of other media consumption, definitely looking forward to finishing up Bayonetta 3, so we can have a more in-depth discussion. Because I pretty much have the same history with Chris, and in general with Platinum Games. Kind of the state of it, we can definitely talk about from that perspective. Also,
real bummer.
It's a bummer.
Really but yeah, go ahead.
No, looking forward to you know what? A lot of more hours into Persona 3 and 4 that are in Game Pass. Finally going through Portable. I never played Portable for Persona 3.
Oh, okay.
Only the FPS. Yeah. So it'll be cool to go through it with FMC.
Yeah, and some people would argue it's better than FES.
Yeah.
Only for the sense of there's not actually a lot to do on the overworld.
Yeah.
In P3. So it's like having it faster and Switch saves a lot of time.
Yeah, and that's actually more reminiscent.
And go.
Yeah, it's actually more reminiscent of SMT series when they have that.
Older ones. Yeah. Nice, man. We'll definitely have a lot to talk about Bayonetta 3. I still haven't watched Moonfall, and I thought I would have had time to do that, but I haven't. I'm going to do that soon.
What happened?
Why do you disappoint me?
Moonfall.
I gotta watch Moonfall.
Moonfall.
I gotta talk about Moonfall.
Watch.
Okay, I'm gonna watch Moonfall. We're gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna explain the movie. That'll be the next podcast. Is just me reiterating it.
He knows he has a good bit. That's the problem. He knows he has a good one.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Moonfall.
Yeah.
Video game wise.
Yeah.
Gonna play Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we can see right up there.
Right in there.
Yeah, right. I can see the flesh, the flesh tone, and
I can see you thinking, man.
Yeah, I can see your brain power, your brain moment going.
Yeah.
Gonna play Hi-Fi Rush, which just dropped. I gotta play that more. Nice. I played the first level and defeated the first boss, and it's like someone made a game for me, and it's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's rhythm based. It's actually, what's the really scary part? I've been working on a game idea for years, and this is very similar.
Oh.
To how, because the toughest nut to crack is I'm not a game designer. I'm not a programmer. I wouldn't know how to do combat. But I know what I like in combat. So I was trying to figure out the combat, and I think this game is doing it. So figure that out.
Yeah.
Book-wise, gonna finish that, Jason. Just honestly, the reality is I'm not gonna be able to consume a lot of stuff in these next 2 months because I have a deadline for the game.
Right.
Underling Uprising, y'all can go check that out. Free demo on Steam and Itch. It takes 10 minutes, and it's just gonna be that for a bit. So I'm gonna be slacking on media on every front for a little bit. But that's what it is. Just trying to get that done.
Get
that out there. It be like that. Especially with the day job, so not days go by so fast for me. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I lose track of time so bad. If I wouldn't know what day of the week it is unless someone told me at work.
Oh yeah,
what it was. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Nothing else. Should have ended on the Moonfall bit, really.
Yeah,
would have been a stronger ending. But
we're here.
We're here now.
I don't know. Let us know if you enjoyed the visuals.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Like this, like that. Yeah, this.
You liking all this?
Hit that bell. You're gonna like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
That's what it is. Retweet.
Subscribing. Let's keep clicking the bell.
All right, Chris.
I'm on Instagram now. That's crazy. I only got like one photo. It's my profile thing. It's because Twitter's imploding and I don't know where to go. So I gotta make a TikTok, advertise, writing, work.
Did you know Congress is trying to ban TikTok? Like, there's an actual bill.
That's been a thing for a while, I think, because of China.
Yeah,
because it's China. It's Chinese spyware.
When will I learn my fun dances, Congress?
Where will I learn?
well,
Where will I learn how to Dougie? Because that's where the kids are learning is how to Dougie. Yeah, trick, yeah. All right, I'm out.
Trick, yeah. All right, see ya.
See ya.
I was trying to get it. Oh no, we're still on. Yeah,
Chris, oh my god.